Hi there, welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today we'll be walking you through your 2024 Wildwood 42View. We are just going to start off at the back here. If you notice, we do have your cable satellite inlet as well as your stairs to get up to your roof so you can check your seals. Off to the left here, you do have your main power cord inlet. Just pulling this guy off. Take a note of this little silver strip here and these two notches. They do line up with that strip there and those two indents. You just line those up, push that in. You're just giving it another 8th turn to lock it in, and then that threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow that cord back, you do have your standard 50 amp plug-in. A lot of campsites don't have this, so we do include this 30 amp adapter. Just keep in mind you're going down to 30 amps of power, so you'd only be able to run one AC at a time. Although if you did have 50 amp service, you could run both at the same time. You're gonna notice a sewer outlet right here. That's just gonna be pre-plumbed in there for a washer dryer. If you were to want to go through with that, you can contact your parts department and they can get you a quote with that. That's just gonna be the drain for the washer dryer. You do have your exterior shower here. You're just gonna stick your silver 751 key in there, unlock that. That's gonna give you access to that shower. Right down below, you got your 2 low point drains. That's just gonna drain all the water out of your water lines. Then you have your black tank flush. The way that works is with your black tank open and your sewer connected, you can thread a garden hose in there, turn that on, and that's just going to flush that tank out, which is going to help with some false monitor panel readings, as well as if you're noticing an odor inside the unit. Right down below, you do have your first sewer outlet connection. You're just taking that guy, twisting it off. Your sewer hose is going to have the same ears that this has. You're just lining those guys up, locking them into place, giving it that twist. You got your black valve and your gray valve. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first. This is going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. Then you can follow behind that with your gray water, which is typically a little cleaner, filled from your sinks and your showers. Right up here, you do have your Suburban hot water heater system. The main power switch is just right here. So whenever you get to your campsite, you can just turn that guy on, and it's going to turn power to the thermostat that's inside. Inside this compartment here, for whatever reason, Forest River gave you access to the back of your hot water heater, where you're going to have some bypass valves. Usually you would use those for winterization, but we have found here at the shop that for these hot water heaters, you are just going to run the antifreeze through it. If you bypass it, the water's going to stay inside your heater, and you do run the risk of bursting it. And then you do have your galley drain right here. It works the same way as the front two. You do have this silver exhaust here. Whenever the furnace is on, this is going to be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. You got your city water connection right here. You thread a garden hose in there, turn on the water. It's going to pressurize all the lines without needing to run your water pump. But if you're camping somewhere doesn't have water service, you can fill your fresh tank from there. The drain for that is just right down below here. You're just going to pull that valve, and that's just going to drain any water that's inside the tank. And then right up on the wall here, up high, you're probably going to need a stool. Whenever you're traveling, you can close that guy off. Whenever you get to your campsite, you can pop that guy open. It's going to allow you to evacuate any of the fumes from the overhead range head. Inside here is just some storage. It's also going to be where you find your starter kit, where you're going to have your sewer hose, standard 15-foot water hose, as well as a 15 amp perk adapter. Underneath the black cover here, you're just flipping that guy up. You got your 2 propane tanks, standard barbecue style. Counterclockwise opens it up. You got your regulator up front here. Whenever this arrow is pointed to the left, you're running off this tank here, and whenever you point it to the right, it's going to be running off your right tank. You do have your patio door entrance. We're not going to enter through that today. You got a coax outlet, as well as 2 110 plugins again. To get inside, just grabbing the foot of those stairs, pulling them out. They fold down. You take your door, open it on up, and take a step on inside. You do just kind of have to climb over the couch, get to your panel, turn your slide, put your slide out. The way that slide out button works is you just just taking and hitting that button down. The slide's gonna start making its way out. Once fully extended, you're just gonna hear the motor wind up, so you do just have to kind of listen for that. It's always gonna do the lighter of the slides first, so typically the bedroom does have the lighter slide, so this one will come out last, and it's also gonna come in last. So there you go, you do hear those motors wind up. That's just letting you know that the slide outs are fully extended. We are just going to move back to the back of the unit here. Just go through the bathroom. To open up this door, it doesn't open like a regular door, so just be mindful of that. You do have to kind of pull it and push it at the same time and slide it over. You got your light switch on your left. Just taking a step into the bathroom. You got your main GFI plug on the wall here. You got test on the bottom. Reset in the middle. Whenever you have this green light on, it's telling you that you're good to go. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I would check, just to make sure that GFI isn't tripped. You got some storage on the wall here. And then right inside here, you do have your main breaker and fuse panel. Whenever a fuse blows, you're going to have a little red indicator light telling you which one's blown. And whenever you have a breaker tripped, it's going to sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. Inside this closet is some storage space. You're also pre-plumbed for a washer dryer setup. If you were to want to go through with that, you can contact the parts department. They can get you a quote. You got a shower with hot and cold water, as well as a couple different shower head options in your toilet. And then right on the wall there, you do have your max air fan. The way that works is you're just pushing down that black knob, pushing that out, hitting that button, and that turns that fan on, sucking all the air out. To turn it off, you're just pushing that button again, pushing that black button, pulling it towards you, closes it up. Up in the bunk space, up in the top there is just some bunk space. You got your light switch on your right, some storage space. Then you do have your stereo. The way that works is you got your power button. It's going to be just like home. Other than that, you do have zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 is going to be interior speakers. Zone 2 is going to be exterior speakers. And then right below that, you do have your little fireplace. You got your power button on your far right. The flame, you can adjust the flame color with the button next to it. The button in the middle does do your rock colors. Then you got your heater, which goes low and high. And then you have a timer, and it goes anywhere from 30 minutes to about 9 hours. You have a nice little island area with some bench seating underneath. Right on the wall underneath here, you do have your LP detector. Both the stove and the furnace run off propane in this unit. Propane's heavier than air. If that guy starts going off, you're just going to want to turn off the main supply propane at the front of the unit, open up the windows, and try and ventilate it out a little bit. You also have a light switch here that'll turn on a little accent light underneath the island. You got your sink with hot and cold water, kitchen area, convection oven, just like home. Not much I'm going to show you there. It also is built in with your range hood, which has a light and a fan, storage space, and then you have your oven and stove. To get those to light, it is just as simple as turning those knobs over the light and pushing in while you're over on the high option, and they fire right on up. Whenever you are running this stove, you are just going to want to have that fan on, so you're evacuating those fumes. Then to get the oven to light, you're just opening that up, turning that knob over to the pilot option and pushing in, waiting for that pilot to come on like so. Once that pilot holds its own, you can turn it over your desired temperature and it fires right on up. Just be mindful that today it did fire up right away, but that's only because we had it running earlier. If you've had the propane system off for a while and come to turn it back on, air gets inside the system and it does take a while to purge the lines for these stoves. So just be patient with that. You got your residential style fridge with your nice travel straps, which you do want to always make sure you're using. That way you don't run the risk of damaging anything when you're traveling. All your controls are just up on the top here. And you do have an ice maker inside this unit as well. So you do have to make sure that you're running the antifreeze through that when it comes time for winterization. On the wall here, you do kind of have your main control panel area. You got your your monitor panel system, which you got your battery, which goes empty, a third, 2/3, and full, and then you got all your tanks. This light switch on the right does an awning LED strip outside on the awning, and then you have your outside speaker lights, which just turn on blue, those little blue LED lights whenever you push that light on. Then you got your ceiling light option. Pushing that on activates the ceiling light, but you do just have to push the dimmer switch after you turn those on, and it's a dimmer switch, so if you push and hold, it'll go from bright to dim, and anytime you let off that button, that's where those lights are going to stay. And then you just got your slide out button, which I've already showed you. And then you have your Suburban water heater right next to that. Turning that button on, it's going to tell you your output temp, up and down to change what temperature you want. Whenever you're first turn it on, it is just going to go to 50, and that's as an added child safety feature, so they can't turn it up any higher than that. If you push and hold this up button for about 5 seconds, it does unlock the thermostat and it'll allow you to go to 55, and that's in Celsius, of course, 131 in Fahrenheit, and you can just change that with the push that button, and then just pushing that button turns it off again. And then you do have your thermostat right next to that. Pushing this button once illuminates it, push it again. You can choose between cool, heat, or cool plus heat, which is going to kick between both depending on what the thermostat is set to. And then at any time you got your fan option, which goes high, low, and off. Whenever you are using the furnace, you do have to have the fan off, otherwise it's not going to work properly. And whenever you're on cool or hot, you just adjusting this knob will adjust the set room temperature, and it'll just tell you the current room temperature on the wall there. Hitting this button does turn on that overhead fan right over there. And you do have 2 ACs in this unit, so this thermostat controls this back AC here, which you do have a couple options. You can run it with those louvers closed, of course, which is going to move all its air through the ceiling ducting you have throughout the unit. And if you open them up, it is just going to dump all its air into this main living space if you were to want to do that. And then the heater, the furnace does just push all its air through the floor we have around the unit. And then up top there is that second AC. The thermostat for that is just in the bedroom here, which I'll show you right now. And again, you do have up top here, which is just a more bunk space for the kids. Taking a step on inside, right behind the door, you do have another thermostat. And now this thermostat works the same way as the front one, except it doesn't control the furnace. It only controls that one air conditioner. You got your VersaTilt bed. Pushing that button up pushes that VersaTilt bed up. Pushing that button down brings it down. Light switch for the room is just right next to that button there. You have another fireplace right here, and then right here you're gonna notice antifreeze inlet. So again, you're just opening up that drawer. You got 2 tabs on either side. You're just pressing them in opposite directions. Pressing them in opposite directions will allow you to unlock it and pull it out of place. Gives you access to get to that water pump where your bypass valve is for winterization. And then to get that back into place, you're just lining up the drawer with those sliders, pushing it in. Oh! And it will eventually, as long as you have it in there properly, find its way in. And like I said, you do just have to line it up. Make sure you got it lined up, and then you can slide it into place. Some more storage space. You do have reading lights above the bed, just on your own center push buttons, chargers on either side. All the blinds in the unit you work the same way, they just kind of sit where you leave them. So if you pull them down, they stop and stay. And if you pull and release, they start making their way up. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call. Oh, and then on the wall here, sorry, you do have your TV lift, which will bring that up as long as that switch is up. And then you can bring it down if you were to want some extra counter space. And then once you turn that TV lift off, You can adjust all your shades individually or all together to go either down or up, but that is only for the main living space. They aren't going to do the ones in the bunk area or the bedroom or the bathroom. Then you got your awning button. Pushing that button down will allow that awning to extend. Once fully extended, you're going to see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang out. Keep in mind, whenever it does start to get a little windy, about 5 km/h winds, you are just going to want to bring that awning in, as you don't want to run the risk of ripping your fabric or bending your arms. And there you go. As you can see, you're going to see that little flap hang down in the back of the metal tube. Now, if it were to start raining, you could take any arm, front or rear, and pull down on it in the center there, and that's going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to then run off. Now, if you like that angle better, of course, you can do the same thing with the back arm, and it's going to allow for more shade. And then to bring it in, you are just pushing that button, retract, and the awning's going to retract back in. And you do have some more light switches just down below there, which does a nice pendant light above the... And you got your fire extinguisher right there. That's going to be just like home. Pull the pin and shoot. Well, now, other than that, if you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call. That is it for this unit.